Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2015 Ripperwards, where I give you the chance to vote on your favourite superstars, divas and moments over this past year in WWE. That is coming up next. So every single year the WWE gives us the Slammy Awards, where we get to vote on our favourite superstars, divas and moments of the year. But as we all know, the Slammy Awards aren't quite as user-friendly as they think. Look up Roman Reigns last year, for example. So tonight I give you your chance to truly vote on who you want to win the awards this year. What's going to happen tonight is I'm going to give you your categories and your nominations, and at the end of the video I will tell you how you can vote, as well as when the nominations will end and when the award show will be going out. So without further ado, let's crack on with our first category. Every single year celebrities make their mark in the WWE. They come in because they're lifelong fans, because they have an album to push, or because they just want the publicity. Whatever the reason, here are your picks for Celebrity Appearance of the Year. Arnold Schwarzenegger was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. He provided a voiceover for the entrance of Triple H, and he was part of the WWE 2K16 video game, as he came as downloadable content for pre-order bonus as both T1 and T2 Terminator. Ronda Rousey certainly left her mark on the Authority at WrestleMania. She was brought into the ring by The Rock, and she threw Stephanie McMahon across the ring. Who knows when we'll next see Ronda Rousey in the WWE ring, but she certainly left an impression this time round. Jon Stewart was a prominent figure in the WWE over the summer. He started a feud with Seth Rollins over The Daily Show. He came in to host the biggest party of the summer at SummerSlam, where he cost John Cena the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in the double title match. He took an AA for his troubles on the next night. Stephen Amell was also a prominent figure over SummerSlam, as he teamed with Neville to face King Barrett and Stardust. Amell flew through the air and into the heart of the WWE Universe. Who was your favourite celebrity appearance of this year? Each and every single week, the WWE puts out original programming, and they stepped that up last year with the introduction of the WWE Network. Over time, the network has grown into its own, producing fantastic original content, not least of which, of course, is NXT. Now, NXT is excluded from this next category because, well, quite frankly, it would win, and it does have its own category set later on in the show. With that in mind, here are your nominations for WWE Network Original Program of the Year. Beast in the East was a live house show emanating from Tokyo, Japan, as we saw the NXT Championship match take place as challenger Finn Balor was able to overcome champion Kevin Owens. And Brock Lesnar made his appearance in Japan for the first time in over 10 years. Swerved was one of the best programs all year round, as Jackass director Jeff Tremaine directed the superstars into causing pranks, tricks, and just generally wreaking havoc over the entire WWE universe. Breaking Ground has given us a look inside the inner workings of the WWE Performance Center and the daily lives of its upcoming NXT superstars and divas. Table for Three takes three divas, legends or superstars, sits them around a table for a meal as they talk the life, the road and the antics of a WWE superstar. Stone Cold brought his legendary podcast to the WWE Network last year, and this year he continued that trend with such guests as Triple H, Brock Lesnar, Paige and Edge and Christian. Stone Cold brought his hard-hitting and to-the-point questions to the execs, the management and the superstars. Mentioning NXT before makes you think about the rise to fame that it has had. NXT has become quite possibly the best wrestling promotion in the world today, and because of that it has done nothing less than attract some of the absolute best the world has to offer. Last year we saw the signings of guys like Hideo Itami, Kevin Owens and Finn Balor. And this year the signings just kept coming. Here are your nominations for Debut of the Year. Braun Strowman, Dana Brooke, Nia Jax, Asuka, James Storm, Apollo Crews and Samoa Joe. Those guys are looking to make their mark on the industry, but there are some people that made their mark a long time ago, and every time they come back to the WWE, we can't help but get out of our seats and cheer as our favourite superstars come back to the ring one more time. Here are your nominations for Return of the Year. The Rock returned to WrestleMania as he took on Triple H and Stephanie McMahon of The Authority, and even introduced us to Ronda Rousey. The Undertaker returned to the WWE twice this year, but the time where it left the biggest mark as he stared down Brock Lesnar at the conclusion of Battleground. Kane returned to his demonic roots at Night of Champions as he came out following the Sting and Seth Rollins championship match to destroy the champion and Money in the Bank holder Sheamus. The Dudley Boys made an unexpected return to WWE the night after SummerSlam. We got a little taster at the Royal Rumble as Bubba Ray returned, but they came back as a unit to take over the tag team division, and they have left their mark on WWE once again. At Hell in a Cell, John Cena extended his United States Championship Open Challenge to anyone in the WWE he didn't expect, Alberto Del Rio. Making his return this time alongside Zeb Coulter, Del Rio quickly made an impact as he captured the United States Championship from Cena. Next, with every great moment in WWE, there's one that doesn't always go so well. Take a look, for example, King of the Ring 1998. One planned, epic moment saw Mick Foley fly from the top of the cell 20 feet into the announcer's table. The not so planned epic moment was when he fell through the top of the cell and knocked himself out. That's an example, but here are your nominations for 2015's Botch of the Year. At Hell in a Cell, the Dudleys attempted a complicated looking tag team move, and they failed it twice. At NXT Brooklyn, there was a fatal four-way match between some of the NXT divas where Emma unexpectedly picked up a pin after Dana Brooke was not there to break it up. And on NXT, Eva Marie forgot to kick out of a pin and the whole world noticed it. For the WWE to work, they need to have faces and heels. Now the line has been blurred a bit in the last few years, but there are still some defined moments where superstars cross that line from one side to the other. Here are your nominations for Turn of the Year. Baron Corbin, who naturally garnered some heat within the WWE and the NXT universe as his push started to sour the fans at Full Sail. Paige is not exactly known for staying on one side of the fence or the other, but late this year she turned on her friend Charlotte in an attempt to garner some heat for the Divas division. Eric Rowan started the year as the face coming out of the Wyatt family, but he soon realigned himself with old-time partner Luke Harper and eventually Bray Wyatt to cement himself as a heel once again. Alexa Bliss was everybody's favourite little diva in NXT until she aligned herself with Blake and Murphy, bringing out that nasty side of Alexa that she desperately needed. Emma was a goofball at the beginning of the year, she was having fun. But that turned as she returned to NXT. She aligned herself with Dana Brooke and she became a new Emma. Brock Lesnar started the year as a heel, but in his feud to the lead up of WrestleMania with Roman Reigns, Brock slowly turned as the fans got behind Lesnar and against Reigns. And in what could be one of the only true straight up turns this year, Samoa Joe turned on longtime ally Finn Balor, turning himself heel and garnering himself a shot at the NXT Championship at the upcoming NXT TakeOver London. There are moments every single year that makes you think, what the hell did I just see? If you've got a DVR, you rewind it, you watch it again. Of course, a lot of the times you don't have to because, well, they like to replay it a lot. But they're the moments that stick in your mind. Doesn't matter how good the match or the card was, this moment stays with you forever. With that in mind, here are your nominations for Holy Crap Moment of the Year. At WrestleMania, during a classic encounter between Seth Rollins and Randy Orton, Seth went for the curb stomp for Randy to counter it into a spectacular RKO. Later that very same night, as the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship was taking place, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins shocked the world, cashing in Money in the Bank and walking away WWE World Heavyweight Champion. At Payback, The Shield came together in a fatal 4-way match that also included Randy Orton, and we saw signs of the old Hounds of Justice as the triple powerbomb was delivered to Randy Orton. You know you're going to get some highlight reel moments when you go into Elimination Chamber, and Kalisto provided the greatest one of the lot this year as he climbed to the very top of the chamber and dangled, swinging to get some momentum before crashing down on the rest of the competitors in the Tag Team Elimination Chamber match. At SummerSlam, Jon Stewart decided to stick his nose in everybody else's business as he interfered in the WWE World Heavyweight and United States Championship match, taking out John Cena with a steel chair, allowing Seth Rollins to claim victory. In a standard one-on-one match between John Cena and Seth Rollins, things took a nasty turn as Rollins came off the top rope and the knee shattered John Cena's nose. I mean, look at that image. It still hurts. During the main event in the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker were tearing down the house, but Brock Lesnar decided that's not all he wanted to tear up, as he took away the canvas, the mat, he took away everything that made the ring look safe, before taking a chokeslam of his own onto the wood. And following that hellacious encounter, as we were all celebrating The Undertaker, Bray Wyatt makes his presence known and takes out the legendary Deadman. NXT has become its own entity. As I said before, it has become probably the best promotion in the world today. And it's the stars that make that happen. Here are your nominations for NXT Superstar of the Year. Ty Dillinger, Samoa Joe, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Tyler Breeze, and current NXT champion Finn Balor. But of course, it's not just the singles matches that make up a great product in NXT. You also have one of the best tag team divisions in the world. Here are your nominations for NXT Tag Team of the Year. The Lucha Dragons, Dash Dawson and Scott Wilder, The Mechanics, Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, Blake and Murphy, The Vaudevillains, Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. But the most impressive division in NXT is of course the women's division. Women's wrestling has never been at a higher peak than down at Full Sail. Here are your nominations for NXT Diva of the Year. Scrap that. NXT Woman of the Year. Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Dana Brooke, Emma, the current NXT Women's Champion Bayley, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks. Some of these guys have already been called up, some are still down in Full Sail. But when you look at what's going to happen in 2016, who do you think is going to leave the biggest impact? Here are your nominations for Future Star of the Year. Kevin Owens, Tyler Breeze, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe, Apollo Crews, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. Now, feuds are something that are often overlooked in the WWE these days. They tend to rush through from story to story, but occasionally they still manage to do it right. Here are your nominations for Feud of the Year. Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns, The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, John Cena versus Rusev, Triple H versus Sting, Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker, and Bayley versus Sasha Banks. Sometimes it's not just the feuds that stand out though. Individual matches can make or break a superstar. We remember matches long after we forget what feud they were part of, what show they were even on. Here are your nominations for Match of the Year. Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker at Hell in a Cell. John Cena versus Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber. Seth Rollins versus John Cena at SummerSlam. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. To call yourself the greatest in any given year is a huge feat. Competition level is high in the WWE at the moment in every division. The tag teams especially have stepped up this year. Here are your nominations for WWE Tag Team of the Year. Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, the Prime Time Players. The Dudley Boys. And the New Day. As I said before, the women's division in NXT has been hotting up, and it is possibly the hottest women's division in the world right now. That hasn't quite translated over to the WWE main roster. However, we have had a record-setting year in the Divas division. Not always a good thing, but we have had it. Here are your nominations for WWE Diva of the Year. Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, Paige, Charlotte, and Naomi. And finally, the biggest award that we have to offer every single year, WWE Superstar of the Year. So many different guys try to make an impact, try to make a lasting impression. Some never make it, some occasionally break through. Who has left the biggest impact on you this year? Your nominations for WWE Superstar of the Year: Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, John Cena, The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan. So ladies and gentlemen, there are your nominations in your categories for the 2015 Ripperwards. Now, how do you vote? Well, there's going to be a link in the description box below. Click on that link and it will take you to a form where you can make one vote on each category. Voting opens immediately and closes at midnight GMT on the 18th of December. Look out for the awards show on the 21st. Ladies and gentlemen, my name has been the Ripper Danny B. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to share this amongst all your friends so we can get the most votes possible and get a true representation of who you want as your winners. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and of course, if you want more of this, more of my Rippers recap and review, or more WWE 2K16 Universe mode, as well as new series coming in the new year, don't forget to give that subscribe button a click if you haven't already. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you on the award show on December 21st. Take care.